Okay, make sure your names are on those. Let me have those. Pass them all the way to the links left. And then get out the homework. All right, e-learners, reminder that your quiz will be posted sometime between 12 and 3 today. If you're watching this a day later, then it's already posted. But if you're watching it live, then you got to wait till 12, sometime between 12 and 3 today it'll post. Jaden, where are you facing? Where are you facing?
Where they at? Nah, bro, who's fucking out ammo?
You're the one that said that you could explain it. Never ceases to amaze me, though, when I look out in the crowd. I can always count on Jaden not to be facing the front.
No.
No. They were not.
All right, let's get focused. Let's get back to work here.
We're looking at lines and tomatoes.
Okay, any questions on the homework? I'm not going to call out answer today because it's a quiz. Any questions on the question? Yes. At the end of class, not right now. If you don't have it, just make sure you get to me by the end of the day. No questions?
There was one I kind of want to help on.
Number?
I find it. Oh no, this is. I have homework. Never mind.
What'd you get for an answer, Kai? You didn't get one. So we're given 0.6 times -9. 0.6 times -9. What's the positive times the negative?
Negative.
Thank you for answering his question.
Thank you.
Yes, that's true. So all you need to do is just multiply the two numbers together. I said I was going to teach you a class on multiplying with decimals. Which one has the most digits?
Oh.
So I put 0.6 on the top. I put 9 on the bottom. I do the multiplication algorithm. I get to the answer. Then I move a decimal place. How many decimal places? 2. Where do you see 2?
Oh.
Where do you see 1? Okay, as long as you can identify how many there are. All right. Because you initially said 2, and there's only 1 decimal place there. All right. Grayson, grab the box that says course 2. You know the drill. Hey, this class has too many people that are not doing their homework. For me, too many is like more than 2 a night. With this large of a class, there's always going to be one kid that for whatever reason didn't do their homework. But when I have 3 people that don't do their homework, we got issues. For those of you that always do your homework, this speech isn't for you. For the kids that, yeah, I get most of my homework turned in, you're giving away 3 points for 1. 2, you're giving away your opportunity to practice the work that you need to master, so you don't even know if you can do it. What are you doing? And then 3, probably the nicest point about this is that I look at all, listen please, I look at all your homework every single day. In fact, that's what I was doing while you were taking the test, was I was looking at period 1's homework. There's a reason why I ask you to put how many you miss on the top, right? If you're truthful, right, you're gonna get 10 points every homework assignment, whether you get 1 right or you get them all right, or you get them all wrong, you're still gonna get 10 points. But when I see -15 on the top of the page, I separate it. I put it in a little box right here so that during student advisement, I go up to this kid and like, wow, you were really lost on that homework. How can I help you? Right? If you don't do your homework, you don't even get that opportunity. So you're clueless, and then we take a quiz and you fail it. Right? Make sure you're doing your homework. End of speech. All right. Today, we are dividing. Yesterday, we did multiplication. The 2 days before, we did addition, subtraction, which only leaves one thing to do, which is division. And then apparently there's 2 more things to do. What could those possibly be? Well, if we're doing division today, No, it's gonna be word problems. All right. There's your homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian,
Ooh.
you're sitting in the back row. Yay!
Why do you give us word problems?
It's so boring.
I'm pretty sure I've given you the speech. All right, you tell me one thing in real life as an adult when you use math that isn't a word problem.
I know.
What do you mean?
I
2
know.
by 2. 2 by 2.
The one that I always go to, for this year at least, is I'm what's called empty nester now. Both my daughters now are away, gone, left. Right? They don't live in my basement. Right? The last one did live in my basement. Now she's gone to college. So we are called empty nester because we've lost our little baby birds. So the first thing that many parents do when they become empty nesters is like, I got 2 extra free rooms. I'm building either a man room cave, or I'm going to build a home office. Well, my wife said, no, you can't have a man cave, but you can have an office. So we built an office so that I'm not sitting on the couch with my laptop and a whole bunch of papers. I got a desk now. So one of the things new, both my daughters had very colorful taste. One was lime green and the other one is pink. And the home office that I got was the pink room.
Yeah.
I was not going to have a home office, so I needed to paint the walls. Well, I do own some pink shirts, but being surrounded by pink is just not what I'm into. All right.
Just plain a blue.
So no, we painted a very off color of white. But anyway, so I needed to paint the walls. So I needed to buy some paint. You guys have never bought paint before. Paint is expensive.
No, it isn't.
It isn't. I will show you. $50.
Oh, never mind.
Right? Just for something to paint the walls. I mean, I spent way more than $50 to paint the walls. But the point being is, I needed to figure out how much paint. A person that does it the wrong way says, go to paint's room, let's go buy some buckets of paint. And you buy $400 worth of paint, you find out you bought too much. Most adults do this because they do know that paint is expensive. Like, well, let's figure out how much space we got to paint. This is a math word problem. Mr. C needs to paint his room. He has a room that has 4 walls. Wall number 1, its dimensions are 12 feet by 10 feet. Wall number, so forth and so on. My point being is that why do we do word problems? Because as an adult, everything that you encounter, mathematically speaking, is going to be a word problem. So that's why we do it. I don't know of anywhere in life where like someone randomly comes up to you and says, the problem that we just did was 0.6 times -9. That ain't ever going to happen. It happens in a math class. What happens in the real world is it says, well, you got a pile of trash and 6/10 of that needs to go to the recyclers, right? You have 9 trucks. I got to make a positive problem. You got 9 trucks, right? We need a division symbol. How much should go in each truck, or how many truckloads, or how much stuff will go inside each truck? That's a real world problem there. All right. Now that I've wasted that much time answering a seemingly simple question, I didn't really waste time. I gave you a real answer. Let's do some math. All right. Is it a comment about what I just said? Ooh. Hold it to the end. All right. So I got to make sure I actually teach a class here. So we asked we're going to be dividing positive and negative numbers today. Well, the good news is this. I'm going to give you a class. We're not going to see decimals in the class. I will show you just briefly decimals. But the problems that we do in class are going to be integers so that we can get the concept down. And then tonight for homework, yes, you're going to be dealing with decimals. Okay? All right. So briefly, I said I wasn't going to teach it to you, but I will show you. Be careful. 8th grade is not where you learn how to do decimal long division. First and foremost, the question can be written 2 different ways. Here's the most challenging way, where it says a number, division symbol, number. Fraction bar, it's easy. But remember, when this goes into the long division symbol, it flip-flops. What goes on the outside? What goes on the inside? And 73 hundredths, right. So when you actually do that, it flip-flops when it's written this way. When it's written with a fraction bar, then the top goes on the inside, the bottom goes on the outside. Okay, there's your mistake number one. You put the numbers in the wrong order. Okay, mistake number two is the more common one, which is I mess up the math. Just like multiplication, right? Or unlike multiplication, I should say, we have to mess with the decimal at the start. Multiplication, you don't mess with the decimal until the end. Adding, subtracting, you don't mess with the decimal until the end. But on division, you gotta mess with the decimal. You are only allowed to divide by whole numbers. I should say integers, because this year we'll see positive and negatives. 2.3 is not a whole number, or negative 2.3 is not a whole number. I got to make it into a whole number. So to refresh your memory, the divisor must be a whole number. So how many decimal places do I need to move it? One place, sorry. I don't care how many decimals are in the divisor. I don't care. I care about the, I said the divisor, I meant dividend, sorry. I don't care about the dividend. I don't care how many decimal places are here. I only care about the divisor. I move it that many places. I need to move it one place. So when I go to the dividend right here, I only move it one place. I'm a kind of teacher that says immediately. Some teachers say, okay, you're done. Now let's do the division. I'm the teacher that says immediately move it straight to the top. Move it straight to the top immediately. Okay? That way the decimal is where it needs to go. You don't need to worry about it again. This is the one trick that students who struggle with long division now struggle with forever. Well, how do you know what number to put here? For me, I do math easy. I can't count by 23s other than 23, 46, 69, and I'm lost, right? So I don't want to think about 23. For me, I think of this as 23 is an ugly number. So what do I think about?
25.
Or 20, whichever one it's closest to.
25.
It's closer to 25, so I'm going to be thinking about 25. Does 25 go into 1? So some teachers will have you put a 0 or a dash. Some teachers will have you put nothing. I'm not going to interfere with whoever taught you long division. Yes. Go for it. Remember, you never have to ask permission if there's an emergency. Does 25 go into 10? Does 25 go into 10? No, dash or 0. Does 25 go into, I'm not even thinking 103, I'm thinking 100. Does 25 go into 100? How many times? Are you guaranteed that 4 will work?
Yes.
No, you're not. Because I rounded both times. I rounded up and I rounded down. 4 is a guess. 4 is a guess, and it's a good guess. Well, now we're going to find out whether it's the correct answer. But my guess is 4. So I put a 4 right here, not over the 1 because it didn't go into 1. It didn't go into 10, but it went into 103. Now I do the math. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry your 1. 4 times 2 is plus 1. I get 92. Okay? Now I subtract. When you subtract, you get what? 11? How do I know if it's the right guess or the wrong guess? Go, Jaden. How do I know if 11 is a good guess or a bad guess? 4 was a guess. How do I know if I got a good guess or bad guess? No. What's the rule? Then it was a bad guess. I need to go up by 1 or maybe even more if it was a really bad guess. What would be the other way? What would you get here? For instance, if this was a 5, I would have got the number that's bigger than 103. Right? If I multiply 5 times 23, I get what? 115, right? Way too big. Those are the two things that will happen. You either guess too large or you guess too small. Well, I guess it's 3 things. Or Goldilocks, you guess correctly. Is this new to anyone? If it's new to you, then guess what I need to do? I need to see you after school for tutoring, right? But for the rest of us, this is how we do long division, okay? This is the key of knowing you made a good guess or a bad guess. I'll just say this thing right here is where students always struggle. Well, I didn't know what number to guess. I round. I make a guess, and then I make adjustments to my guess. So yes, it will involve a little bit of erasing. All right. 23 doesn't go into 11, but it does go into 107. Once again, I can't do that math. But I can do 20 into 120. How many times, or sorry, 25 into 120. 25 goes to 120, how many times? 6 would be 150. All right, so 5. Are we guaranteed that 5 is the answer? No, it's a guess. Once again, this is more guess and check than anything. Well, let's see if 5 works. 5 times 3, 15. Carry your 1. 5 times 2, yeah, it's a darn good guess. We're only 2 off. So 5 is in fact a good guess. It's the correct guess, right? All right, we do the subtraction and we get 2, and then if a math teacher wrote this, guess what your remainder is right here? 3, because you're dividing by 23. Okay. Notice my decimal was right there. I didn't need to worry about it. It just naturally fell into the right spot. We're done. 45.1. I said no, this wasn't a class on long division, but there is your long division review. If this is your, in French they call it the bête noire, which is your black beast. If this is, and it just means your scary thing in a movie. If this is your scary thing, right? Then let me help you. Let it not be your scary thing. When you do this much math, your chances of making a mistake. When you do this much math, your chances of making a mistake are very high. Yeah, for some of you it is 100%, right? But show me you at least know you have a clue of what you're doing, and I will take care of you, right? Won't give you an A, but you'll pass. You don't know what you're doing, you're not going to pass with long division. All right, done. Okay, so division is the inverse of multiplication. So therefore, if division is just multiplication, right, the inverse of multiplication, then it must have the same rules, and it does. What's a positive times a positive? What's a positive times a positive? Okay. So if multiplication and division are related, it's because that division is the inverse. So if I go in the inverse, I say what 20 divided by what, right? I said this backwards. 20 divided by 5 is what times 5 is 20. That would be the inverse. Boy, I messed that one up. Okay. What times 5 is 20? That's 4. It's the same process, just the inverse. All right. The rules for dividing integers are the same for multiplication. If you need to write this down, write this down. If not, then sit there quietly while the people that need to write it down, write it down. If you have same signs, that's a positive times a positive, or a negative times a negative, the answer will always be positive. Same explanation as I gave you yesterday, the reason why. If you have a positive divided by a negative or a negative divided by a positive, in other words, opposite or different signs, the answer is negative. Yes?
So if it's like 10 divided by -2.
Positive divided by negative. It'd be negative. Are these the same rules for addition? Are these the same rules for addition?
No.
No. Just like yesterday, I stressed that point. You have 2 negatives and you add them, you get a negative. You don't get a positive. It turns out when you divide 2 negatives, you do get a positive. Paradox, paradox. Why is it like burning hot over here? It's nice and cool over here. Why I'm starting to sweat right there?
Can I please
Stay over
move
here like,
over there?
it's no, but I can change the temperature. Luckily for you, breathing is part of the what is it called? Autonomous nervous system? What am I thinking of?
Respiratory.
It is part of it, but breathing is not something you can control, right? Right. This is why parents always say, yeah, go ahead, hold your breath. See how that works out for you, right? You can't hold your breath. This is also why people drown. Why do people drown? Because you can't hold your breath.
Because you can't swim.
No. You don't need to. You don't need to swim if you can hold your breath.
Wait, what?
Jump into the deep end with a 20-pound weight and then walk to the shallow end, you'll be fine. You don't need to swim, just walk.
I've done that before.
I've done it plenty of
So
times.
you pick up a rock and you just like walk down.
The reason why you drown is because you can't hold your breath.
I can control my breathing.
No, and we're not going to do this as an experiment, but I'm just saying, trust me when I say the reason why you drown is because you can't hold your breath. Eventually, your body says, we're taking a breath, and that's why you drown. All right. Do not try that at home.
Wait, once you don't really drown, once the fluids get into your lungs, then your body will start overcompensating and put more fluids into your lungs, and then you drown via your own self. You don't ever drown out.
Yeah, the definition of drowning is that the ability to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide goes away. Why? Because there's water in the way. In other words, you got a lung full of water.
Wait, but so does it mean you're getting strangled and it's not technically drowning?
It's called asphyxiation.
Okay, but if you're strangled underwater, why happens?
You need to write murder mysteries is what you need to do, Genevieve. All right, box number 2, please. Now that we've gotten completely off topic. How did we get on that topic?
Oh, heat.
Yeah, but how did that turn into drowning?
Excuse me?
Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
have Gabby turn up to the office, please?
She's on her way.
Thank you.
Bring back donuts, please. Oh, you won't be saying ooh if she brings back donuts.
I'll be saying thank you.
All right, back up here. You have 4 problems. My belief is that this class requires, not because of you, but because it really follows multiplication, it requires the least amount of instruction. Let's see if I'm true or false here. Do these 4, please.
What?
1.
That's so funny.
It's because I didn't look at the answers correctly.
2.
That sucks, bro.
You didn't answer them all.
No.
You've already got mistakes.
Which
So.
ones? Tell me.
It's right there.
Where?
What? No.
Where? I said right
Do the
there.
problems, please. Do the
Oh
problems.
my god!
Hey, I pointed at it. See? I did it again.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No.
What?
All right. A bit less talking, a bit more work. Christian, you done? Christian, can you give me all 4 answers? Go. Did your answers match Christian's answers?
No.
No.
8.
2. Wait.
Two.
What did it say one more time?
What?
It's on the board.
Oh.
I got that wrong.
All right. I truly cannot make this too much more complicated. It's now, granted, we can make it challenging if we make ugly numbers, but the rules of dividing with positive and negative numbers, well, you just did it. Either the 2 numbers will be positive, or the 2 numbers will be negative, or there'll be a combination of positive and negative, and you just showed me that you all got. Did anyone get these wrong? Then you should know what you're doing. All right, I did have 4 more. Oh, one of these is not like the others. Be careful with the last one. Do box 3, please.
Wait.
Do box 3, please.
Okay, which one's right? Did I fix it? I know this one was wrong.
No. Yeah.
This one's right.
Oh, it's one of these.
I don't know. You've erased too many things now. I can't see what your original problem is.
Damn. I give up. I know how to do it. I know how to do it.
Clearly, you know how to make mistakes.
Well, yeah, I know how to make mistakes. But
As do we all. Yes, Genevieve.
But I'm better at
I really need my book thing.
Your book?
No, my thingy. That has the chart in it.
What chart?
The multiplication chart.
Oh, the multiplication table. All right, hurry up. Go get it. No donuts? Yeah, that is definitely a fail.
Scott, where's my donuts? You promised me them yesterday.
The next person who gets called out to go down better bring back donuts.
I bet.
Unless I leave.
Wait, what happens if they actually do?
Then it won't be a blue, will it?
Yeah. What if it's only for
Neither can I. I don't know. I'm starving, and I don't remember last night. I don't remember either.
All right. Or you can bring me back a PlayStation 5. That I was
Oh,
able to-
I did the Xbox
I spent 2 hours last night clicking on my computer and getting very frustrated.
Wait, try to pre-order?
Did you pre-order
I tried.
Did you get it?
No,
Everybody
but I
wants
did
it.
spend literally 2 hours on Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, and
Hey, if you
Amazon,
get it,
literally clicking away.
If you get it, you have to bring it in.
But
Why would he bring him in?
So we can
All right,
work it.
time out. We might actually time out. Time out. We might actually have a math problem.
No, it's not.
Would your brother want donuts or
Okay. Either one's fine.
What's
Throw your hands up if you want donuts.
Okay, hands down for a second. Small.
What?
Hands down for a second. Let's finish our work and then we get started on homework. All right, Hannah, can you give me all 4 answers, please? Listen, please. We didn't hear your first one because some people were talking.
First one is -2.
-2. I got -3 though. 6 times 3 is 18. Not 6 times 2. All right, keep going.
Next one is -15.
Negative what?
15.
You have a knack. You have a very good skill of being
Oh.
one off of your answers. Right. All right, keep going.
Then it'd be -7.
It would be
What? That I didn't say.
Wait.
7 times 7 is 49, not 7 times 6.
And then the last one would be -4.
It would be -4. Very good. All right, questions. Now, I threw this last absolute value in there just to remind you. You also had it on the quiz that you took about 20 minutes ago. Absolute values are still part of the, your skill set. We will not see, after this test, we will not see absolute value again until we get into Algebra 1. In Algebra 1, you will be solving equations with absolute values in them. And that's why we teach in pre-algebra to get you used to it. It's also how we explain adding and subtracting. Okay, we talked about this yesterday. I forgot who in the class came up with the rules. Who was it? Came up with the rules? Was it Genevieve? All right, Genevieve, what are the rules?
If you have an even number.
If you have an even number of negatives, Jaden, listen please. Put that away.
If you have an even number of negatives, there'll be a positive.
If you have an even number of negatives, the answer is always
Positive.
if you have an odd number, the answer is always correct. So, how does this help you? Well, not when you're multiplying 2 numbers together. You can figure that out. But when you're multiplying 3 or 4 or 5 numbers together, or in this case, today will be dividing, then you can figure out whether the answer is positive or negative at the start. As long as all you have is multiplication or division, you can do this. If there's any addition or subtraction thrown into your multiplication or division, you can't use this rule. Okay? You actually have to do PEMDAS. Okay? But if all you're doing is multiplying or dividing or a combination of multiplying and dividing, then you can figure out whether the answer is positive or negative from the very start. But remember, if you have a combination of multiplication, division, and subtracting, you got to use PEMDAS. You got to go left to right. Okay? In other words, left to right, get all the multiplication and division out of the way, then the add and subtract. Okay, so here we go. Hey, the first one, how many negatives do we have? So therefore the answer is, okay. Second one, how many negatives? How many? Therefore the answer is, third one, how many negatives? Somebody needs to work on their counting. Therefore the answer is positive. And the last one, how many negatives?
3.
Therefore the answer is negative. Now be careful on these. This is box 5. If you have a combination of multiplication and division, are you listening? You can't multiply and divide in whatever order you want to. You have to go left to right. If all you have is multiplication, do any of these only have multiplication? No. Yesterday, you did. You had 3 numbers. You can multiply them in any order you want because all you were doing is multiplying. Now we got division. As soon as you see even one division symbol, you must go left to right. For me, the way I keep from making mistakes is I just always do left to right. Okay? Always do left to right, and then you don't need to worry about it. All right. First one, do we need to go left to right?
Yeah.
We've already determined the answer is negative, so I could put equals minus sign. and be done with that part and just look at the numbers. 12 divided by 3. Class, 12 divided by 3.
4.
Negative
Where are you getting a 4 from?
Negative
I'm saying, where are you getting a 1 from?
Negative 4.
12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And we determined that the answer was negative, so it's negative 2. You guys are not inspiring me with confidence with your division. Hey, do we have any division here?
Yes.
We must go left to right. 60, and we already determined the answer was positive. 60 divided by 4 is
50.
divided by 5 is
30.
so the answer is 3. Right? I know you did. That's why. All right. We already determined that this one the answer is positive. So we put equals. So now we just do it. 48 divided by 2 divided by 6. 4.
Yeah, I knew that.
Last one we already determined the answer was.
Positive. Negative.
Kai, you have a knack for saying every possible answer. Now, which one is it?
Negative.
Negative. Okay. So we put equals minus sign. Okay, this one you might not be able to do in your head. 120 times 8?
No.
it's like-
It's 15.
That's a big number.
Wait,
Okay, no. What? 8 can go
No,
into
it's
12.
640.
8 can go into 12, what? One time with 4 left over, 8
Yes.
goes into 40.
5 times.
So 1 and a 5 gives me,
Wait, why do you need
a
to
1 and a 5 gives me what number?
6.
6. No,
Wait,
6.
why?
6.
No,
I thought you
you're not catching my logic here.
It's 16.
I'm not saying that you need to do this in your head, right? What I'm saying is some of you are smart enough that you could do this in your head. Kai, what I was saying was 8 goes into 12 how many times? 1 time. With 4 left over, 4, 0. 8 goes into 40. So what's this number? And don't tell me it's 6.
15.
It's 1, 5, which is
15.
okay. So once again, I'm not saying you have to do it in your head, but some of you could. I would also absolutely not encourage you to do that on a test, unless you're truly confident. Do some scratch work. So we got 15, and 15 divided by 3 is, and we already determined the answer was negative, so negative 5.
Whoa.
What?
I told you.
Where's the mistake?
Who's that?
What did I say?
Where is the mistake?
Like, oh,
All right, timeouts. Timeouts.
That's mistakes.
Just,
No.
hey, seriously, timeout. So I just let all of you, and you all agree with it, and not a single person said stop. Does this say division?
No, it's
Multiplication. So it wasn't, listen please. It wasn't 120 divided by 8, it was 120 times 8.
That makes sense.
Well, that's not 640, that's, how about 960?
60.
It's 960 divided by 3.
120. Whoa, that
Oh,
makes
yeah,
sense.
that's
All right. I purposely did that, quiet please. I purposely did that because tonight for homework, you're going to be, oh, look, we're doing nothing but, in fact, that's the name of the section. And then somewhere in there, they're going to throw some multiplication in there. Be ready for it. Be ready for it. Questions?
I got it
Gentlemen.
right.
I had like, yeah, just the entire time.
Okay, good for you, right? But no one else was willing to say, oh, why are you dividing when it's multiplication? All right, on your own, do box 6. On your own, do box 6. On your own, do box 6. And let's keep the voices off so we can concentrate here. Fine. Anybody need help?
This is easy.
David says he's already done.
What? How?
How many push-ups you can do for every wrong one?
Oh.
55.
55. 10. 10.
10.
100.
10. 10.
25.
Oh, that's 10. Yeah, because 12. That's 10. That's 10. That's 10.
I literally looked at the first one and it was wrong.
That's 10, bro. No, that was earlier. This is the second one. That's 10.
You said, hey, how many I got right?
No,
You
it's a
said-
thief. No, that's 10, bro. No,
10.
jot down. How about everyone I get right is 5
No.
or 5?
Everyone he gets right.
One
all
minus.
these are-
Ooh.
Everyone you get right is 1 minus.
No, they could do 10 pushes. Is that one wrong?
Everyone he gets wrong, he doesn't. Everyone gets right.
What you get now?
You have one wrong.
Oh, drop down. So that means
Drop down, give me
Jackson has
10.
to do
Drop down,
1,
give me
2,
1.
3, 4, 5, 6,
I didn't
7,
check. You
8.
said, don't check. I just checked that. You got one wrong.
Dude, it's 30 push-ups. So I have to do them right now.
All right, is everyone else done?
Drop,
Yeah.
All right, Priscilla, first one. What's your answer? All right, tell me what to do. First off, is the answer positive or negative? It is negative. So now tell me what to do. You tell me the math, I'll do it for you. All right, Priscilla, I'll help you during student advisement. All right, there are your answers. Which one you get wrong, Landon?
Drop
Which one
down
you get wrong?
the first one.
And
I mean,
Okay, no,
What does
everyone
that say?
you got wrong, you have to give the whole entire class 5 each person.
oh no, this is negative 21.
5, 10.
no, I
Right. What does that say right there?
negative 21.
Wait, how many
Where are you getting a negative 2 from a negative 21?
Because I don't know. I think I actually wrote it.
You did a big accident on that one. All right, e-learners, do you have any questions? Today was a fairly simple class. The rules for division are the same as for multiplication. Good luck on your homework. Just remember, in the class, we only did integers so that we could do a bunch of these. But for homework, it's going to include decimals. You may use a calculator to check your work, not to do your work. I will catch you guys later.